to episode 63 of Stitched in Sweden. I'm Maria, and you can find me on Ravelry as mmonska and on Instagram as Stitched in Sweden. Today I thought I would come by and tell you a little bit about what I've been working on because I have been accumulating quite a stack of things, sewing and knitting related. And my parents are coming on Friday, so I thought today, since I have a little bit of extra time, which I shouldn't have extra time, but I can talk about that later. Today, since I have a little bit of extra time, I thought I would come by and record. So here I am, and I am a little bit flustered for various reasons, which I'll talk about in This Week in Stockholm if you'd like to stay around for the end. And I've just biked home very quickly because there was a storm chasing me, and hence the blotchy neck and crazy wind-blown hair. Anyway, okay, let's just get started. I am wearing my new Molly top. This is a pattern from Sew Over It capsule wardrobe collection, which is called their City Break, I think, capsule. And I got this fabric from fabworks.co.uk. It is a nice drapey, stretchy jersey fabric, and it's quite a bit stretchier than my previous Molly top that I made with, you remember, like a overall large floral print. And I really like this one. I made a couple of changes to the top. I added some extra fabric here in the underarm because before, if you remember, on my other one I had this kind of bunching situation, which was uncomfortable, but I still wear it because I fixed it a little bit and it's definitely wearable. But this one, yeah, I added that little bit of fabric there, and otherwise I didn't make any adjustments. It fits well. I think because it's a drapier fabric and has more stretch to it, it feels a little bit bigger and looser. Stand up here so you can see. But yeah, you can see sort of how it hangs, and it has like a slight curve to the hem and then a bigger curve to the back hem, and I'm really pleased with it. So usually I wear this, I've been wearing it to work, sometimes with a little black skirt, and basically that's a quick and comfortable outfit that I can wear. And I also have added my, I think it's called Blackwood or Black Wedge, I think it's Blackwood cardigan on top if it's a little bit chilly. And this needs to be washed. It's been worn several times, and honestly I just pulled it off the laundry pile, so it's a little bit wrinkly. But this is another make that I have finished recently, and I made this out of another fabric that I got from fabworks.co.uk, and it's just a lightweight gray jersey that has kind of this, I don't know what this is called, marled or something. Anyway, I'm really happy with this cardigan, and I would like to make several more. I am planning on making one in just a solid black, and I think that one, which will be the next one that I make, I will make one size smaller, and just because, like, this is fine. I am perfectly happy with the fit of this one, but I just think that for the next one I want it to be a little bit tighter, and it's a stretchier fabric, so that will also I think it just will work. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and I think what I'll also do for that version is I'm going to shorten the body just a little bit so that it hits more at my hip. This one hits like at my fullest, you can't see that at all, sorry, hits at my fullest butt point, and I would like the black one to be just a little bit of a different style and hit more at my hip, I guess, like where my hip bones are. So just slightly, yeah, whatever. I just want it to be a little bit shorter. So that's what I'm going to do. Make the smaller size and make it a little bit shorter. And I may, I don't know yet. I haven't decided if I will make the front cross over more. This pattern is designed to be open, so it's not supposed to cross in the front or cover completely. And I like that style because it does make it a little bit more of a throw-on cardigan. But I haven't decided if I will do the same thing for the black one that I'll make, but we'll see. I probably won't make it for a couple weeks because, yeah, like I said, my parents are coming to visit, which I'm very excited about, but that means that I will probably be putting my sewing machine away because there will be 4 of us in our tiny apartment, and I guess we need all the room that we can spare. Okay, so while we are on finished sewing projects, I might as well just show you the last thing that I finished sewing, which I'm really happy about. This is the I don't know exactly how you say it, but it's Ogden, I think. Ogden Cami, which is a pattern by True Bias, and this is my second one, actually, that I've made. The first one, unfortunately, was really, I really like the finished product. I really like the fabric that I used, but the finished garment did not turn out as planned. But luckily I have plenty of fabric left over, so sometime I can make another one in the same fabric. So basically this is just a drapey light cami that I think will be the perfect layer underneath the Blackwood cardigan. So picture this in black with this underneath. I think that will be the perfect sort of summer work outfit because, yeah, it just, I don't know, I think it somehow is polished in a nice way. This had a couple of different new techniques to me, which I hadn't tried before, including making these teeny tiny spaghetti straps, and I tried a couple of different ways for how to make these spaghetti straps work, and basically in the end, I think it was on the Colette or Seamworks sewing blog, which if you haven't looked at that, look at that. They have excellent tips and tutorials and basically sew-alongs for almost all of their patterns. This isn't a Colette pattern, but they have a tutorial for how to 5 different ways, I think, how to turn a spaghetti strap, because basically you sew along, you fold over a piece of fabric, a skinny piece of fabric like this wide, and you sew along one side of it, and then you need to turn it right side out. So I tried a couple of different things, but because this fabric just was so delicate, the fabric kept ripping. So I wasn't able to pull it through. It kept ripping on the original pattern suggests that you take there's like a tool for doing this, which would be amazing to have, but I don't have one. And it's like this long wire with a loop on the end, so you just stick that wire in and then you loop through and pull it through and it works, apparently. But they said if you don't have that they suggested to use a safety pin and clip it onto one end and feed the safety pin through your tube and then pull it out and it will be reversed. The problem that I had is that when I pinned the safety pin onto the fabric, even when I pinned it in a little bit extra away from the edge, the fabric was just too delicate and it ripped through. So that was not ideal. I think it was on the Colette blog, but it might have been a different post that I finally found another option, which was to take a bobby pin and make a tiny slit in the fabric and thread the bobby pin through there and pull the bobby pin through. And for some reason, even though that seems really similar to the safety pin method, that method worked much better for me and didn't rip the fabric, and that was it. So that was one of the new techniques that I used for this top. The other new technique to me was making a facing. So this, I thought that I didn't really like facings before, but this one, like, I can see the purpose of it. This is it inside out. So you can see this piece of fabric, which is on the front and the back, allows you to make a really nice edge that you don't see the stitches on, because you're stitching, which is on the back and on the inside. So you stitch on the back part, it's called understitching, and you're stitching the facing to the seam allowance on the inside, and it just makes this really polished edge, and I think it looks really nice. So yeah, this is my cami, obsessed, and you can see this is actually, I'm showing you the back. The back is slightly lower than the front, and of course you could change that if you want, but I just kept it as is. The one thing that I did change to the pattern, which was, actually I changed two things. The first was the major change that I needed to make because it didn't fit me at all the first time that I made this cami, and maybe I can show you in a different day when I'm not so and I pull out my other cami, the first one that I made. Basically, the front fit perfectly. My bust fit well. Everything was nicely, yeah, it just looked like it was right on the front. But as soon as I turned around, this beautiful V was basically pulled like this. And it was really tight and uncomfortable and seemed like something's wrong here. So it turns out I have a broad upper back or something, because I have this problem often with jackets and button-down shirts especially, that it's always very tight across my shoulder blades and across my back. And on shirts that have a seam right here, which this one doesn't, but shirts that have a seam right here, for me it's often pulled in to the incorrect place, which makes the sleeves tight and causes a whole list of fitting problems. But because I'm rather small in other places, whatever. Because my shoulder size doesn't match the rest of my body, apparently. So, for example, I am measuring myself for the Chloe coat, which is a pattern by Sew Over It, and my shoulder size is a size 12, UK size 12, and my body size is a UK size 8. So that's a pretty huge difference. So I did a little bit of research on how I could make an adjustment for broad shoulders, and on the Colette blog, they go into great detail on how to do this. And so I basically followed the instructions for that, which was not super easy because, well, it was pretty easy, but I had to think about it a little bit because they were doing the modifications for a shirt which had, straps and then actually sleeves attached, but had like a pretty thick part here. And this one obviously doesn't have that, but I just sort of guessed and followed the lines and corrections down to where I thought it would work, and I added about this much, so I would say 1 centimeter or so to each of the back areas here, like in kind of a strip. But anyway, you can look at the Colette blog and see for a shoulder adjustment if you also run into this problem, and maybe I'll go a little bit more into detail and I'll show you the differences in fit with the original one that I made and this one. The last change that I made to this garment is that I added a little bit of a curve to the bottom hem. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but the back one is a little bit lower or longer than the front, and it curves slightly, and the front also does a little curve like this to match more of the style of the molly top. And I actually took the molly top and used that as a guide, just laid it underneath my pattern for the Oaken Cami and traced the new hemline that way, because personally I don't like the straight across hem, especially on this cami, which is like a beautiful kind of flowy shirt and then has this cut line. I looked at some other patterns and projects that people had done, and that just wasn't a look that I really liked, and I thought this would be so much prettier with a little curve. And even though it's really subtle, I think that it does change the garment in a nice way. So, very pleased with that, and I am excited to try some more of those. I'm just like a little bit obsessed with this because also it has beautiful finished seams on the inside, French seams, and yeah, I'm just really happy with it. And I'm finding that my sewing skills have improved so much ever since I started bra making, and I think because you have to be so precise when you are bra making, because you're working with such small seams, and such tiny differences in your stitching lines could really make a big difference in the sizing of your bra. I think that has really, bra sewing has really helped me to become a better sewist, seamstress in other parts of my sewing as well, which is a plus. Okay, I think that is it for the sewing. I will move on to knitting now, and oh yeah, actually one last thing, I have some fabric to share. I was talking last time about my plans to make the Elizalex. I started following her on Instagram and she pronounced her name and I just don't remember, because the dress is named after the person from By Hand London who designed the pattern. So I'm planning on making that dress for my friend's wedding, which we are going to in August, mid-August, and it will be on Gotland, which is a Swedish island in the Baltic Sea. So we're actually flying there because I just don't really want to take a 5-hour or 8-hour, I don't know, ferry ride. I'm not the best boat companion. Anyway, this is a fabric that came and I'm so excited for it because I think it's just going to be beautiful. It might look a little bit like a couch, but I really don't care because I think it's so pretty. And I think it's going to make a really nice dress. It has some nice texture to it, and I think it's called a brocade or jacquard or something, I'm not really sure. It has a little bit of texture to it and these nice kind of bright springy yellows and a little bit of more minty turquoise, and kind of the undertone of the whole thing is sort of a nude blush color, I would say. So I think this is going to be beautiful and I can't wait. So I'm going to probably wait until I have a little bit more time to dedicate to sewing that because I really want to make it right. And I have sewn up the muslin like I showed you last time, I think, and while my friend was over here, she helped me try that. I mean, she didn't help me try it on. I tried it on and she helped me hold it back, and with my shoulders relaxed and everything, she thought that I could use a little bit extra space for the zipper. So I'm going to add about 1.5 centimeters to the top of the zipper area and then grade it down to about 0.5 centimeter at the waist. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to make a new muslin. I probably should, especially because that is expensive fabric. Which I got from Croft Mill in the UK, online. Yeah. I also got another thing there, but now I don't know where it is, so I'm not sure. Super excited for that dress, and I'm really looking forward to sewing it as well as wearing it, obviously. Well, hopefully I'll still be excited to wear it after it's finished. I think I will be. Okay, I did find the other fabric that I got from Croft Mill, and I thought I will just show you this while I am showing you the other fabric from Croft Mill. And this, oh, my hair. This is a Liberty print. It's the cotton lawn. It's beautiful. This fabric is going to become the inside lining of the ties, which I will be making the groom and groomsmen for our wedding. I have not picked out the outer fabric, like the main tie fabric yet, but I have a couple of really good options, and it will be a kind of, yeah, blushy pink color. And so, you know, if you like flipped a tie up the bottom, or just, you know, like you're wearing a tie and like you flip it up and the little part on the inside, which can sometimes be a different color or not, that is what I'm going to use this for. So it'll be just a little touch of personality to the ties, I think, and I hope it's just something that they like, and yeah, reminds them of our wedding or something, I don't know. But this fabric is beautiful quality. Liberty fabric is always beautiful, I think, but yeah, there's just something about it. I really like it. Okay, so that's it for the sewing. And one project that I've been mainly working on for the past couple weeks, and one project that I finished. So I'll show you what I finished. And I've already worn this a couple of times because I don't do the wait till I show it on the podcast thing. Because when I get it off the blocking mat, it's like when it's crisp and perfect and when I want to wear it. This is the Boho Blush Shawl, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and I finished this. Actually, I very recently, like 2 days ago, finished adding the tassels, which I'm still not decided if I will keep them at their current length or if I will trim them to about half of the current length. I haven't decided yet. But this is the boho blush pattern, like I said, and I finished the knitting of it on the Thursday before Easter. And I remember that because I was actually planning to be here in Stockholm for Easter. I have Friday and Monday off from work, but Thomas and his whole family had decided to take off the whole week before Easter and go up to northern Sweden to Åre, nearby Åre in Undersöker. I can't really say that word. Anyway, where they have a small cottage winter home kind of thing to go skiing. And I was planning on staying home for that whole time because I didn't really feel like I had extra days to take off of work, and because I'm taking off a lot of time in September for the wedding, I just said, yeah, I'm gonna stay home and I'll have a little knit sewcation, and I did do that for a couple days. Well, I was also working, but I did have one full day where my friend came over and we did a lot of pattern cutting and sewing, and I finished this shawl without the fringe attached, and it also wasn't blocked. So the story continues. I'm so jumpy today, sorry. The story continues that I decided last minute that I was going to take the night train, which is an 8-hour train ride, up to the north and surprise Thomas and his whole family and arrive on Friday morning. So on Thursday day, my friend was here all day, and she helped me get to the train station with my skis and all my stuff, and I had this shawl finished with me, which was very cozy to have in the sleeping train, just like, yeah, wrapped up. It was so hot when I first got on the train, but then, of course, as you get moving, we had the window open, and it got quite cold, so it was just really cozy to have this shawl wrapped around me. And just to continue the rest of the story, Thomas's sister-in-law was the only one who I had told I was coming so that she could come pick me up at the train station in the morning, and so she did, and I arrived right around 8 o'clock and came into the cottage and came in with her. So everyone was eating breakfast and they didn't know I was coming, and I walked into the house and the 4-year-old boy in Swedish comes running in and he says, like, Mom! And then he says, Thomas! Maria's here! And like I said, in Swedish. And he's like running back into the kitchen where everyone's eating, and he's like, Maria's here! And Thomas is kind of thinking like, he's crazy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then I walked into the kitchen and everybody's face was just, what are you doing here? They were shocked. And then they were really happy, and yeah. This is like one of my, I think maybe the only time that I have successfully pulled off a complete surprise, so that was really a fun thing to do, and we had a nice time up there. I got to knit a lot, and what I knit on was my Find Your Fade shawl. I don't know if I've been resisting casting this on or what, really, but I sort of felt a little bit, okay, when it first came out, I thought I must make that shawl because it's just a beautiful pattern. I think Drea Renee knits. I think all of her patterns are really beautiful and I enjoy knitting them. But I was a little bit hesitant just because it's a huge shawl which uses a lot of yarn and it doesn't use full skeins of yarn, but in the end it's like, okay, whatever. I often don't use full skeins of yarn anyway when I'm knitting projects, so I figure, why not? This is a beautiful way to show off some kind of special skeins, and I'm so happy that I finally decided to knit it. And I have made quite a bit of progress. I had several days of pretty much full-on knitting while I was up at the cabin. And I also had, oh no, stitches gone. I also had, this is a disaster. Okay. I also had an 8-hour car drive on the way home, which usually I wouldn't be able to knit, but I was sitting in the front and I could knit the garter stitch sections without looking, so it worked out. Here it is in all its glory. This is the part that I'm on. I'm on color number 5 in the lace section, and 5 out of 7. Here it is. So I'll start from the bottom maybe and go through which yarns I used and show you how much I have left over. This is a beautiful project bag that my friend made me out of some Rifle Paper Co. fabric that we ordered together, which I have plans for. I'll tell you about that some other time. The leftovers. The first color that I used is this, which was, this is not this wasn't a full skein. It was, I already have made a pair of socks and the dress for the bunnies, which hopefully you've seen them on Instagram, but if you haven't, I'll put them right here, which was another wonderful part about going up to the north for Easter, was that I could give the kids their bunnies and they loved them, and it made me so happy that they carried them around for the rest of the weekend, and they are just perfect. Yeah, anyway, I made them clothes, and you'll see the pictures of them here if you haven't already. So this was it was already a leftover from the pair of socks that I made, which was an adult pair of socks for myself. And then I made the dress for one of the bunnies, and this is some merino nylon cashmere yarn. I want to say it was like rose something or romantic something, I'm not sure exactly, from the Wool Barn. And yeah, it's just a beautiful dusty pink. And that is this first part here. Then I transitioned into this yarn, this was a full skein to start with, and this is what I have left for the second color. And this is a merino fingering. I don't remember if this was the sustainable merino or the regular merino fingering from Gregoria Fibers, and this was lovely to knit with. And also her yarns they smell really good. I don't know, I have a thing about smells. So the first one was Wool Barn, this second one here is the Gregoria Fibers, and the third one, this yarn from Frida Fuchs. Hamani, I think, color. It's basically a cream with little specks of this color pink. And that you can see that part right here and in this lace section. And then transitions into another yarn from Gregoria Fibers, and you can see that one has a little bit more yellow colors to it. And this is all I have left of that one. This is also was a beautiful yarn to knit with. And this one I think was also I'm positive this one was a cashmere blend as well. And then my fifth color is the one that I'm on currently, that I'm losing stitches on. And that is this beautiful sort of muted, dusty, greens, grays, tans, blues, yellows color. And this is the ball. I have a little bit left to do on that one. I think I'm about halfway through the lace section. And then I will be transitioning to the next color, which I'll show you. Let me just see what I can do here. Showing you this. So, this is the back now, but whatever. Oh, if I was really tall, I'd be able to see it, but I think that gives you kind of a good idea of how the fade is working. So, yes. The next color that I'm transitioning into will be this color, which is going to be a little bit of a harder transition, but I think it will still fit with the general colors of the project. And this is You Can't Take the Sky From Me from the Hey Sister Yarn Co. But this is a beautiful light blue speckled yarn with specks of orange, brown, purple, dark blue. Yeah. So that will be next. And then the last one is still a little bit unsure, but I think that it will be this one, which is also from the Hey Sister Yarn Co. And this color is picked up in the specs of this one, but I'm just not sure if it goes overall yarn down with everything. I do like in the original pattern that her end colors are sort of stronger, contrasty colors, and the middle is more of a lighter, softer color. So we'll see, but I think I'll just kind of wait till I get to this point to make the final decision. But very excited about that. It's a very enjoyable knit, and I'm also looking forward to the finished object. So I am planning on using the leftovers to knit a little sweater for Tira, who is the recipient of the little girl bunny, and Thomas's niece, because I think there will be just the right amount left over for a cute sweater for her. And Theodore, her brother's sweater that I made, if you remember before, it's a black sweater with like bohus Swedish design that has like a faded, like a gradient of grays to white in the yoke. It's a sweater that I made a long time ago, and I made her sweater at the same time, but she has grown out of her sweater and his sweater still fits him, so I thought it would be nice to make her another little sweater and not feel like I have to make him one directly, because these colors are maybe more suited for her. But that's because, yeah, girly pink, I don't know, whatever, it could go either way. Speaking of girly and pink, I decided to make the pink bunny for Theodore and the oatmeal colored one for Tira, but I did make the oatmealed one a pink dress. And I made the pink one little gray shorts, and you'll have seen the pictures here. So just to review, this is the boho blush shawl, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. I have worn it. I didn't wear it today, but that was because I did wear it yesterday and Monday and Saturday and Sunday, and I thought it was time for a little break and changing it up a bit. So I think it's, I don't know, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I really like her patterns, and I think that I might make the Thalia, I don't know how to say it, Thalia, that one next. But I don't know yet. I think that is it. That was a very rambly episode, but that's what happens sometimes. And I'll tell you a little bit why I'm kind of out of it today in This Week in Stockholm, which I'll start now. So this week in Stockholm, it's been a couple of weeks. I already told you about my Easter adventure. Of course, the sad news of since last time is the horrible event that took place in the center of Stockholm. That was the Friday that Thomas and his family left for the north. So they left in the afternoon, and luckily Thomas had changed his plans so that he had gone into the city to pick up his skis and my skis earlier in the morning, so he wasn't there when the driver took the semi-truck and first drove down 5 blocks of pedestrian street and then crashed into the department store. So luckily he wasn't there while that happened, because he had randomly decided to go in the morning instead. He wouldn't have been right there probably, but I mean, he could have. It's a place where anyone I know could have easily been, especially on a Friday afternoon. So that itself is scary, of course. But it's just, yeah, it's disconcerting, but at the same time, the outpouring of love and support that happened afterwards was amazing and a bit overwhelming, I would say. So I'm sure that you have heard about that on the news, and I don't need to go into it in further detail. But that was not the best way to start the Easter holiday and the week away by myself here, alone by myself here. But I was happy that I was in touch with Thomas, and he was moving away from the city on his way to his parents' house, and they closed down the entire transit system. So luckily he had gotten to his parents safely and was there probably a couple minutes before they shut everything down. So that was a plus anyway. But yeah, so that was a horrible thing that happened since the last time that I talked to you. Some happier things that have happened is that it's starting to look like spring a little bit more around here. The cherry blossoms are blooming, and I'm hoping to bring my parents by Kungsgården, which is the King's Garden, basically, which is in downtown central Stockholm. And they have a kind of courtyard area which is lined with cherry trees, and it's just beautiful. If you look at Visit Stockholm Instagram, they usually post some pictures of the cherry blossoms, so I hope that we can get over there and look at those. The color of them is just about the same as this shawl. Yes. Today I was supposed to go to have my first wedding dress fitting, and I've had this planned for weeks. This is why I'm a little bit flustered, because I left work early, biked down to the bridal shop where my dress is being held. I purchased it already, but it's just sitting there until I could take it. And I biked down there today, which was supposed to be on my way to the bridal fitting, which is a couple blocks away from the bridal shop. And the dress shop was closed. And believe me, I checked. Today's Wednesday. I checked on Monday and double-checked their hours, that they would be open today, and on Monday on their website it said that they were open on Wednesday, so I figured I would have no problem to pick it up on my way to the fitting, because I didn't want to be lugging around a wedding dress on my bicycle otherwise. But they were closed, and I guess they have, since Monday, between Monday and today's Wednesday, at some point they updated their hours, and now they're only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I could not pick up my dress, and then I had to email the person who was supposed to be helping me fit the dress and tell her that I can't come to the appointment, which is in 20 minutes, because I can't pick up my dress because we changed the hours. So unfortunately she didn't have a phone number that I could call her, or I didn't have a phone number for her. So I hope that she got my message, and it was just disappointing because obviously it's something that I have had planned, and I thought it was all worked out, but it's not. So I think that I will try to pick it up on Friday on my way to pick up my parents, and I will just take the dress and bring it home with me so that I have it here and don't have to coordinate or count on the bridal shop being open on a day when I go for the fitting. So that was disappointing. And then I biked home because I biked home really fast because we've been having this insane weather lately where it will be bright and sunny 1 minute, like it is now, and then it will be snowing 2 minutes later, or pouring down rain. On Monday I was biking home with Thomas, and we actually met at the grocery store, and biked home together, and we were completely drenched. But that is spring in Stockholm. So yeah, this upcoming week I am planning on spending a lot of time with my parents, and luckily I've been able to take off some time from work and rearrange my days so that I worked extra the past 2 weeks and can spend more time with them. This upcoming week we will be putting together, addressing, and sending off my wedding invitations. So that's really exciting. I'm looking forward to that because I like that kind of thing. And I think that we will also be doing a little bit of home improvement, DIY. I really am inspired to paint one wall in our kitchen a extremely dark navy blue. And I think that, coupled with some additions of like marble and metallic accents in the kitchen, will look really nice. So that's sort of my plan. Also, this leftover fabric that I have from this rifle paper comb, I am planning on reupholstering our kitchen chairs. We have two wooden chairs that were given to us by Thomas's parents that they had as just extra chairs, and they have a kind of plain, boring, just like plain fabric. Is it just a blue fabric for the seat, and I thought it would be awesome to put some rifle paper co fabric on there. So I actually wanted to do that last week, but I need to borrow the staple gun from Thomas's dad, and I haven't been able to get that from him yet. So I think I will be able to do that this weekend, and then I'm gonna find some extra padding to put in there, because I could just put the fabric over the one that's on there right now, but I figure while I'm already going through the trouble of doing the new fabric, I might as well make it nice and put some new padding in there as well, because it's pretty old and flat. So I'm really excited about that, and I think that it will look super nice if we paint the wall blue. I'm also planning a couple of changes for this room, which is the living room slash the room. Including, I'm eyeing a piece of furniture from IKEA. Ideally, I would not like to purchase it from IKEA, but I don't know. Until I have like a real house, I think IKEA furniture might be the budget. But we also have looked on Blocket, which is Sweden's sort of equivalent of Craigslist, and I have found a piece of furniture on there that I would really like, which is basically a tall cabinet that has double glass doors and shelves in it, and I would like to have that right here next to the window in the living room, and I can use that to store yarn and fabric, so it would be in a closed cabinet, but that I could still see it, because I think it would look really pretty, and it would hopefully just help with organization of things in here, because it is a small space and I take up a lot of the space with my crafting supplies and fabrics and stuff like that. So poor Thomas, but his hobbies just don't require as much stuff, so. But I think it would be nice to have this piece of furniture. Like I said, I found one on Blocket, and I've messaged them, and it's still available, but I won't have a car where I could pick it up until Saturday, so I'm crossing my fingers that it will still be there, and that we can pick it up with my parents, I guess, at that point. And maybe it will need a little bit of touching up or something, but that would be ideal. What else? I also did some recent home improvement, which these are our curtains. I sit in front of the window here while I'm recording, which is why the light is crazy today. So I took down our curtains and I washed them for the first time since we moved in 3 years ago. Gross. Yeah, whatever. So dusty. And I finally hemmed them. So these curtains have been about 5 inches too long for the past 3 years since we have moved in. And I figured it was about time to hem them. So I did. They turned out slightly shorter than expected, but they look great. And yeah, I'm really happy with them. So I'm just trying to do a couple of things here and there to sort of, I don't know, improve the feeling of this room and just kind of make things a little bit more cohesive or just sort of put together. I would like to get some frame shelves for the walls, so they're like these sort of thin shelves that you put on a wall, which are like a floating shelf, and not really a floating shelf, but kind of a floating shelf that then you can put framed pictures on the shelf, so like lined up on the shelf. And you could also put like little other things, like little sculptures or plants or sad cactuses. I only have one cactus, which is still sort of happy, but it used to have 3 fingers, and then it got knocked over, and now it only has 2 fingers. So yeah, I would like to get some of these types of shelves. Maybe take down this map that I have, or frame just like part of the map in a frame and then put it on this type of shelf thing. And we have some nice artwork, but it's kind of like half put up and like sort of not, I just want it to look nicer. So one of the things that I hope to do while my parents are here and just sort of get started with them while they're here is to do a couple of apartment improvement projects. So that's it. I will probably be back in a couple of weeks, and by then perhaps I will have submitted my thesis, which is due on May 16th, and I will present at the end of May, so we'll see how crazy things are, but I might be back sooner or later. I will be back sooner or later. We'll see if it's sooner or later. That's all for now, and I hope you are having a beautiful start to your spring wherever you are, or fall if you are in the southern hemisphere. But yeah, happy knitting, happy making, happy me-made May if you will be participating. I think I will be, actually I am me-made every day because I always wear a handmade bra. But I don't know that I will be taking a picture of myself wearing that every day, so I am trying to incorporate more other garments that people can see into my everyday wardrobe, but hey, today I have 2, so there we go. Anyway, that's all for now, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!